these are going to be shorter calls, but we're trying to keep you informed regarding market changes and the demand and supply side of the brokerage industry, and to just try to see what opportunities we can find and discover together. One of the things I think, as I mentioned last week, we saw definitely more active week. I wouldn't say that it's normal, not even close to normal, but the activity that picked up, and you're still, I would say, in the low volume mode, but compared to the first 2 weeks of lockdown and shelter in place, I think definitely there's some rational decisions and customers actually responding and signing contract. That's a good sign. Stimulus packages sort of being approved, and now it's going to be released to individual businesses. I think that has shown its impact in Dow Jones, and the stock market slightly recovered from that rapid crash, and I can see the impact. Some of the fears at least disappearing, and we see customers being responsive, businesses being responsive, trying to think straight and act logical, and when the market is good, at least lock in a good rate. One of the issues that we will be having, and some suppliers have expressed, is that the capacity tags and the PLCs in other than Texas, every other market, starting from June all the way to September, the tags are sort of being read by the ISO, and it will be interesting because the tags will be read lower than usual, given that the demand is like dropping. We will have tags that are smaller than last year and maybe the next year, and that would sort of bring down the capacity cost in the short term down. And there's definitely there's two type of reaction. Either the capacity costs will be adjusted based on the current settings, or the capacity cost will be essentially evaluated at the level that it was last year, given that this summer would probably not be a good indicator of the reality. But I see some suppliers are challenged by methodology to essentially adjust prices with the capacity tags. And as I said, we should probably see some changes of law and PUC changes regarding how to calculate the capacity charges and capacity tags this year, given that it will be not a normal year. And if you adjust, if essentially you come up with a capacity cost, which is underestimating, there will be pass-throughs. So your cost will be artificially lower, but ultimately next year we will be dealing with pass-throughs, given that a lot of suppliers have that clause for significant changes of capacity, and this will be probably significant. As we sort of discussed, the oil and gas markets drop and being pretty much at the bottom. I mean, oil has been at the $25 for a while. It sort of slightly fluctuates, but oil has been there. Gas is at the low. Electric is showing a little more resistance to drop. And it was interesting. I was talking to Hudson Energy, and they were talking about the source of essentially electricity generation and what can cause the resistance of electric prices. And that's really the generation source. I pulled this graph from the Department of Energy that I'm going to be sharing with you in a second. Went ahead and pulled this report, just was doing some research on the cost of each of these sources of electricity, the power plants. And it's very interesting. Nuclear, if you look at nuclear versus fossil fuel-based generation, the operation and maintenance costs, especially the operation cost, is a lot higher running a nuclear plant. Just the fact that you're running it is costing a lot, almost double amount of a fossil fuel plant or hydro plant or gas or coal plant. So that double fixed charge of running that generation, and considering that nuclear is making up a significant portion of electricity. If you look at the cost of fuel for nuclear is a lot lower than fossil fuel. It's almost like 1/3 of 1/4. So what it shows, essentially this graph shows that that's the significant generation capacity that nuclear power plants are producing and given the grid. If you essentially drop the consumption, the cost of nuclear power plants are going to be a lot higher because nuclear are becoming economical at production. Because when you produce, it doesn't cost a lot to produce, but to start it and fire it up, you're almost like double cost of fossil fuel. So you're paying that a double cost, but you're not essentially recouping on the savings per kilowatt hours that you're producing. And that's really it seems like that will be the resistance of the market and how the power plants reacting to this a change of events. As the demand is reducing in the short term, there's obviously two options for them, either to retire them, and that's a significant impact into our power grid, and or they'll be resisting and stopping the drop of electric prices below a certain point. But that's really what I see as like, the hot topic of electric pricing and generation. Generation source is really nuclear. If you look at it, I think there's a lot of complication that goes into running a grid with multiple sources of fuel. And today, as I said, in today's market, nuclear would be, I think, the determinant of where we will be ending with electric prices. Obviously, there would be downward pressure. I don't know how much of it supplier will eat at loss and how much of it the generation sources would be able to essentially drop in their end in order to materialize on their cost. But I'm assuming, you cannot go below break even, and there's a limit based on the cost of running some of these generation sources. Regarding the prices in the markets, we really, I don't think that we have seen a significant change still in electric pricing, and as I said, this can be the reason for it. But lots of suppliers have purchased capacity, and there will be excess energy that would be essentially unused in the market, and they'll be available now. How this would pan out, it's still unclear, but there are a lot of uncertainty regarding materializing, and a lot of these contracts are essentially 100% bandwidth, and there's no swing clause in it. So if the consumption of the customer drops even 100%, as long as the business is running, the suppliers would not be collecting those dollars. So, but to be seen and to be discussed in the next few weeks how the market will adjust, and where the electric, which is more complicated, as you can see, more complicated market rather than compared to natural gas and oil, because there's, as I said, there's multiple sources of generation. There's a complicated grid, and there's a lot of factors that goes into it. But I still believe that the price is going to be moving downward, and I don't know it's going to be as extreme as natural gas, but again, to be discovered. And let's take a look at it. But yeah, I mean, I'm assuming there will be some delay. There's still like a lot of uncertainty regarding when things will go back to normal. There is some security regarding, you're going to see these electric contracts are sold essentially for a longer period of time. Even a quarter, let's say 3 months and 36-month contract, it's going to be not a significant reduction. You may be losing ultimately a quarter of revenue, but down the road you can monetize. So if you're really selling capacity for the whole year next year, there's a lot of uncertainty. When would the demand go back up, and can I recover? I think seems to be still the market's response is that this will be ending soon and the demand will be back. and they're not willing to yet sell the resources, the generation resources, auction at lower set amounts. That's why we haven't seen a drop, and we were already at the historical low when we like essentially like looking at 2 months ago. The market had already dropped, and the prices were pretty competitive. We can take a look at actually. It does, but by the way, New York, for example, New York actually doesn't sell capacity in the future. Capacity is being settled short term. I think that's a very interesting market. The New York ISOs, as I said, you cannot hedge capacity for the future. So that's probably, there is more room for adjustment of that market. I think it's going to be quicker to respond versus others. But again, there's like I think there's two forces. One is supply and one is demand. Demand is going downward, but supply is also operating very lean right now. The problem is, what is the impact of literally having a couple of G generation resources going bankrupt, but not being able to be the break even or be profitable? So how much of it are they able to capture? And there's an operating cost of a facility, and that's really the force that's sort of pushing it back. And I think that battle still exists. And I personally, as I said, I haven't seen a significant move when it goes to this is actually the Dallas market that I see. So it really doesn't seem like this is like March 2020, and yeah, slightly upward. That's what's sort of being seen. But again, I don't think it's still rational. We will see in the next few months how the information regarding getting closer to the end of this lockdown and being more active, and retail and restaurants and such opening to some extent would impact. But I think people are not still willing to to sell their resources, generation resources at the loss, given that there is this glimpse of hope that this will be a quarter, and after that they will recover. So maybe that's just accept that you will get your capacity back, and all the players are essentially on that belief, I believe, so far. So yeah, you will see how how the information will come out. Every day we hear something new. It's at this point, it seems like April and May are definitely shot, and we will see how, as we get closer to the end of April, what will we see regarding the news and the hope of June being open. If it gets extended, then there will be like probably more of a fear of like this is going to be long term, because it was April, it was May. We shall see. I think in the end of April will be an interesting period of time regarding how perceptions are forming regarding the longevity of this lockdown period. So, but yeah, well, we'll keep observing it. At this point, I believe electric prices has not adjusted yet. I mean, if there's a belief that there will be a loss and there will be unused capacity, there's no way it needs to be sold in the market, and it would push it downward. But for now, it's resisting. Okay. So I have something interesting and exciting for you guys now. Let's talk about new features. I know, market movements, and those are also building new things. We never get away from the spirit of building new things and innovating in this company. And we always like to offer things that helps you as our user using our platform to monetize better. So that being said, our design and the technology team has come up with a new landing page for our platform. And this is a project that is in progress. And in the next few weeks, I think we'll be starting to release that. And after finalizing the development and tech and testing. But so I wanted to actually share this with you because I like to hear your feedback regarding this design and this template and this new development. So you probably identified this page. This is our frequent broker dashboard on the top, and you can see There's some design enhancements, so those are like less important. Obviously, it's all pre-designed, everything. But go down. There's three features that we think are of value, and there's two of them exist on the landing page. One is to add a new customer. The other one is to get instant quotes. We identified the third, and most of our brokers want to see the commission right away. So we pull that commission and put it in the front, and we got to program it in a way that without configuring dates and such, you can see the period of time the commission was paid very easily by one click. So you can access your commission right away. And there's three sections that we've added here: tasks, notifications, and market updates. So we would put those in the dashboard. So if you log in, you can see market updates that are being emailed to you right now. There's no home for them to be sitting in the dashboard, but we got to put a home for those market updates. And you can see all the indicators of market drive, what we see as movement of the matrix, movement of the auctions, movement of the wholesale market, all from here for you to sort of like identify and find hot opportunities, hot spots for focusing your campaigns. Notification would be essentially if the commissions run has been done, or there's a change in terms and condition of the dashboard, or an auction is now live, or things like that. You want to sort of see what's funded. You can see a notification here, and you see like there's three notifications. You click it and sort of like go through them and read them. And the tasks are the most important thing, and that's why it's sort of like on the left-hand side with the color orange. Those are essentially your renewals that are dues coming up. You would see them right here. You put them there was a task menu item on the top. We put them here because we think that that's really critical for you to see what should be renewed, what auction has ended for you to see the result. You can see those. If there's three tasks, right away you want to go to the task, and right away you want to act on, and there'll be action button on each one of those tasks. So renew, you start an auction. The auction ended and the results are ready. Send the proposal to your customer. Those actions would be there. The table, as you can see, this is the table for your contract. There's two tables currently. One is contract, the other one is prospect and renewal. We've taken away the second table. Everything will be here. There'll be one table, and those are like your recent contract, and essentially that's how you would see your contract. And complete redesign, complete enhancements of it. But one of the most important things that our team has come up with creatively is customizing these tables and saving it. So you can sort of build custom filters, and let me show you how it looked like. I'm gonna go to the custom filter page. There's a lot of design pages here. So, all right. So, yeah. So this is essentially, as you can see, your table is defaulted to certain things, certain fields. But you know, I mean, we keep getting these. We used to get these requests. Can I have this column, and can I have the other column first? And I like this, and this is more important for me. We're going to make it your own table. So you would get to sort and order and choose what fields are important for you in that table. And you save those information and essentially apply it in the way that you like. And you would see your view. This would be your view with what is important as a fixed, and then there's a scroll, right? The rest would be just scrollable, and you would sort of like can navigate through it. But and then you can drag and drop and sort of like change the place of it. It's very like graphically enhanced, and this is something that we are actually working on. So that'll be your table. Those will be your tasks, notification, market updates, and you can save this. It will be your personal view of your business, and I think that will answer a lot of questions of customization and how you want your sort of workspace look like. On the auction page, we redesigned the entire auction page to be more mobile responsive, to be more crystal clear of what the parameters are. So that's like a design, the mock-up of how it would look like. The information I don't think would be much different, but the design will be a lot better in the mobile and different, I would say, devices. Again, it's all about, our day-to-day experiences. If your work environment is more organized and more sophisticated and more elegant, it's going to help impact every aspect of your business. So that's what we're hoping, that when you land into your page, you see what's really optimized and thoughtful and perfected for your success. And this would definitely help every one of us mentally to do our brokerage activities better. This I'm expecting the next 2 to 3 weeks we'll be able to launch this, and for you guys to see it in the earliest version, and then potentially 1 more week of tweaking small things here. And there's a lot of new features in this page, but as you have seen, we are upgrading every page slowly as we move. We did the graphs and charts at the beginning of the year, then we moved to the quote page, the proposal, the commission under the contract table, and this is potentially the next 3 weeks. You should be seeing it being released. Maybe end of it, and we just took the feedback from this call to potentially create more tickets if it's doable in the short time. But in the scope of that I see, I think it's the next 2 to 3 weeks. We can have something in the dashboard and you can start implementing it. Let's go back, and there's a couple more things that are left. Oh, this is the configuration of the table. So this is a save experience, this window. You essentially name it configuration 1, configuration Matt, configuration Alan, configuration Mike, Jeff, boom, save. And then that will be yours, right? And you can change it. You can come and edit it and make it default. Next, let's see. We talk about the drag and drop experience. We can drag and drop the tables, and that sort of configures the order of them. This is a task section. When you open it up, you can see all the tasks. It's multiple pages, all the fancy stuff. You can, per page number, you can add a new task, and your automated task, whether it's you're reviewing the auction just ended, go and take a look at it, create a proposal, or to renew your contract that's expiring, all that will be listed here. So, and this function in a, I would say a lot more basic version of it exists at the top. You have a task menu. We're going to just make it disappear. We're going to take that out, and we're going to put this enhanced version on the landing page. And yeah, this is add new task. You can add a new task and put a due date for it. And again, it's like your calendar. You open it, that task, call this XYZ customers, follow up with XYZ customers, take a look at this proposal, all that. You just go ahead and finish those. So it's a lot more to be discovered. I don't have a view of the market updates and notification, but you can sort of like see that it will be very similar to the task section, and you already get those hot market alerts coming to you through email. It's sort of like a more of a cleaner, centralized way of storing and looking at those. The historical changes the market, the notification that goes out, and yeah. So at this point, again, we will definitely need your comments and your feedback whenever you feel like there's something that comes to your head. Just send us an email, and they would definitely communicate to our development team and make sure that it will be reflected. First of all, most important thing for you guys, I hope that everybody's healthy, everyone's family is healthy. It's really challenging, and we would like to ask for you guys to take good care of yourself. Make sure that you're not getting into any medical situation. Obviously, at the same time, as much business activity we can do, it will be beneficial for everyone, customers, yourself, the economy. One of the things that is probably going to be harder right now is door-to-door and campaigning door-to-door. A lot of residential brokers may be used to doing door-to-door marketing, but the good thing is we have the e-signature based and digital conversion, digital enrollment, and hopefully that will be helping you guys to get customers sign your contract and not without the face-to-face interaction. And ultimately, as I said, we would try to keep in touch every week and see what's the latest and the changes, and hopefully getting out of the situation as fast as possible and with the least amount of impact. And I appreciate your time again. Thanks for being with me in this call. Thanks, everyone. I appreciate your time and look forward to speaking with you next week. Stay healthy, stay safe. Talk to you soon.